Welcome back, everyone. Let's play Terra Invicta, episode number 8 in our series as the Academy. Man, this game is just so addicting. It is consuming. Oh man, especially because the number of hours I'm now playing, well, the amount of time I should say I'm playing away from the camera is probably like 3 times the amount of I'm recording, or maybe 10 times, I don't know, some big number. Anyway, just some updates. We'll try to do these updates, try to get through. My goal is, let's make it ambitious. Let's try to get all the way through 2027. Hopefully end this one in 2028. Or, if the aliens invade or something before then change your plans. But the Project Exodus has actually finished advanced carbon manipulation ahead of me. And they've chosen electrostatic propulsion as the next one. Now, that's all fine. I, for my part, am on the way to do augmented learning. And then I'm not sure what I'll do after that. So I'm going to try to stay away from the social science ones because we'll get I think it's a 5% reduction, on each of this one and then the one that I would choose if I chose a social tech. So we can try to go through like the military techs, we can try to go through supply depot, some of these other ones, just to stay away from, researching the same tech group, a bit of an efficiency. Aha! The first Martian base is founded. So we get 500 science and 200 influence. Now, just to let you know, I accidentally pushed past this, so I had to reload from the last autosave to bring us back to this event. So I didn't even give my counselors a mission. But I thought I would show you this because here we go. Oh, okay. Interplanetary warship's finished. I think that's going to be a good thing. Well, eventually we'll need that, right? So yeah, we have all these hab modules which are finishing. Which does take us over to the question of how we're doing. Oh yeah, probably supply depots next. How are we doing in terms of boost that we need to put a mining complex on these? So here we see 125, 353 days. Excuse me. That is. Yeah. Okay. So that's. At least time-wise, that's pretty good. Yeah. Okay, but we still have to wait for the boost. We're at 83. I think I have some. I'll be looking around for some text and stuff. Oh, looks like one of my guys came off. Yeah, Venezuela came off its crack. So I came off its crack. Whoops, crack down. Second part of that word, very important. I guess babysitting these extra countries. It was fun to do, but in hindsight, it's also kind of a pain in the bum because you have to continuously abandon them, and if you aren't looking, you'll end up losing influence. Now, I'm going to reload from where I was in the future anyway, but we got to keep an eye on that. So, in my original plan, I was going to absorb all these like countries that nobody cares about and nurture them and mother them. But the workload for that is probably best left to a playthrough that I'm doing on my own and not one I'm trying to publish quickly on YouTube. Okay, so we got military science labs, and I wanted to kind of show something that I only just realized. I don't know how I missed this for as long as I've been playing. Oh, yeah, I also wanted to show off some other things. So we actually got some new techs. Regulatory capture is one of them. That's not the one I'm interested in. This one, yes. So, corridor diplomacy reduces the cooldown for diplomacy between nations, which I don't really care about. Increasing control point management by 10, that is fantastic. And luckily for us, even though this is social science and I was trying to avoid doing those, it's only 1,000, so we can get it over with pretty quickly. And then also very cool is, I don't know how I missed this before, but it shows your techs in order of when you get them. And then we just got the science labs, so you can see we did those 2 augmented learning things. Whole bunch of labs, but I'm missing nuclear freighters, so I hope that we can get that soon, but it'll help my boost requirements for doing things. And then these are all the techs that we've been getting at the global level. Okay, anyway, I just want to show that off. Last but not least is this battle going on for electrostatic propulsion. I cranked this up to 2 and this one down from 3 to 2, just so we can hopefully win that battle. Now, unfortunately, this means that we're going to have to suffer. And this is down from 50% because I did rearrange my my organizations a little bit. But boost is up to 0.33 because I got another boost org. Things are looking good. Okay, well this is the one I was talking about, Common Cause. There's the other 10 points. Maybe the prerequisite is for some... Oh, there it is, 2,000. Okay, yeah, so we'll get that one pretty much right away. Well, this is a pretty good quote. Tell me what we need to send more people further faster, otherwise we'll be stuck playing defense forever, and that's just a slow way to lose. The Resistance does have a really nice, like... I mean, their whole, like, image is pretty good. I buy into it. It's probably my favorite faction from, like, a role-playing standpoint. Or maybe I would say, if I want to role-play what I most likely would, like, identify as, it would be maybe Resistance. But, you know, obviously I'm playing the Academy. I have some sympathies there as well. This allows us to unlock some better drives. I don't know if we're going to be doing any kind of early drive stuff, but more importantly, we just eked this out, by the way. We were about 50 points over Exodus for who was going to get control at this point. And I really wanted this point so that we can control... I don't have a great motivation for this or a great justification, but I'm going to go with terrestrial military science. We don't need the extra mil tech yet. Some of these things are going to be interesting to have eventually. I also don't think that we need like many and even any of them right now. But it is a tech we will eventually want, and I have a huge military science bonus, and we're not going to be doing any other military science stuff. So that's the justification. Again, keep spreading out these categories. Okay, it's been like 2 seconds. Quarter of diplomacy has been completed. That is amazing. So we'll go back over here and we'll probably end up... I know that it's painful from the perspective that we have to share a little bit of or reduce our social science bonus overall. But it's pretty good, and Common Cause is just impossible not to get, in my opinion. Executive privilege, you can probably talk about not getting this one, 7,500, but you know, for something that's only 2,000, that shouldn't take us all that long. In fact, it'll be done in 2 months. Exactly 2 months. Okay, well... Time has progressed a little bit. We're to January 1st, 2026. This is a great point to check in, I think. So here we are. The Servants keeps doing this, keeps bouncing around with the different places they control. In this case, Iceland of all places. And, you know, ending alliances, creating them. I don't exactly understand the point of this just because it feels like it's just a waste of influence. And it's not that the Servants have a ton. So I want to do a full, like, check on everything. Resource-wise, they're down to, like, you know, they only have 20 influence to spend. It's not too much, so they just spent 20 influence on those 2 cancellations. Otherwise, let's see. Let's always take a look at science. 60 versus the next highest is 28. And it's humanity first of all people. And I actually have a good idea why that's so high for them. We'll see that in a second. So that's actually great. Resistance has really struggled in this game. They have some hope, which I'll also talk about in a second. But actually, I guess let's not wait any longer. I don't know if I've already shown off how amazing this is, but if I have, I'm showing it twice just because I'm so happy about this. The Resistance has taken India. Humanity First has taken Pakistan. Currently cracked down because they don't have the control points to afford it. And why is that? Because they took China! This is so cool. So despite the fact that Humanity First generally doesn't do great things for their nations, I have seen them just wreck places. They actually have a reasonable economy welfare knowledge. Okay, it's like total of 20%, so that's not all that much. But at least they're not doing spoils. They're not doing unity on a place which obviously doesn't need it. So they're doing a whole bunch of things. Unfortunately, the nuclear weapons, I'm not the biggest fan of that. At least it's a nation, though, that doesn't start with that many. It certainly is a nation which has the ability to produce more. So, because I'm in the executive of Russia, I plan to delete probably 20 of these nukes, and then maybe even all of them, and then abandon the place. I'm going to be kind of putting myself on the hook to deal with the aliens, since there won't be nukes from other people to do it. And then my target right now is the European Union. You can see that after... this is just pain. I have like 4 counselors, 4 agents a turn working on this. But I've cracked down the first control point. I'm not sure if I'm going to try to take it or if I'm going to let someone else take it, but I have until mid-February to decide. So we'll see. Last but not least, tech. Always tech. I mentioned last time we were doing Common Cause and I got 1100. In fact, we should almost be done with it, right? Well, nuclear freighters came along and that one gives us this nice bonus to boost for material that is beyond low Earth orbit, which is exactly the situation for Mars. So I really want this more than anything, very quickly. So I'm just beelining it. In fact, I've considered, the only reason I haven't prioritized it even higher by, like, for example, dropping this down a smidge, is just because I'm trying to get cooperative resolution as soon as possible. Last but not least, the last thing I want to talk about is we're still on the hook for eventually F1. I thought there was a access, there it is, access an alien corpse. Now the hard thing about doing this is an assassinate mission, which I don't have access to. There's a couple ways we can get it. I thought we would try to get it by looking for an organization with assassinate. Now I've gone through all of Humanity First and all of the resistances, sorry, not the resistances, the servants. I've gone through the servants and Humanity First. None of them have an org which will give assassinate. I've been told at least that the CIA has one, which is remarkable to me because if the CIA has the assassinate mission, how the hell doesn't the FSB? Oh wait, this is the FSS. Is this not the FSB? Oh, maybe that explains it. I don't know what the icon looks like, but is this supposed to be the FSB? I think it is. I think this is the CIA equivalent for Russia, right? The icon, I'm just not familiar with what the logo would be, or what I know it's FSB, right? That's the abbreviation I see, or formerly the KGB. And they should definitely have assassinate, if I'm not, crazy. I mean, in fact, more than anything, they should have assassinate, if you read any of the news from the last 5 years or so. Anyway, I don't understand it. So I'm just waiting on somebody who does, or worst case scenario, I'm gonna have to dig really deep into the tech tree, and I am planning to do this anyways because it's definitely not a bad thing to do, to get covert operations. But just to show you in the tech tree where that is, it's pretty far off. We got to go down photonic computing to advanced atomic manipulation to quantum computing to quantum encryption, and then in quantum encryption you can see covert operations. So just in case you're wondering where that is, how to get to it, that's the path, and you can see that is unfortunately quite a lot of research that we would have to do, and that looks like to me probably two years out, maybe 3. Alright, hasn't been very long, just one more period basically, and here we go. Arrival Sociology has been finished, and we get to pick the next one. Great. Let's just go over to the tech tree, although I'm pretty sure I am going to pursue the quantum computing side of things, so that would be photonic computing next, since we already did advanced carbon manipulation. Nonetheless, I can't help but think about what are the other possibilities. In fact, let me drop right back out of that screen. What would we want to do? I don't really care about independence movements. I guess this is kind of like the wrong way. I'd rather be interested in maybe unity movements. Biotechnology still would be another great one, just to get the cybernetics to make our agents like super agents. That's great. I don't really know. I mean, there's a lot of good things in here. Eventually we're going to have to get space tech. I'm basically getting space economy tech, but not space military tech, and that's a delicate balancing game that you have to play. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get photonic computing. That's what I want to do. 25% bonus for this means hopefully I'll be able to keep it. As soon as nuclear freighters comes up, I have been able to ride being over the CP cap, and we're at 350. This is pretty crazy. The next person isn't even at 300 yet. But we're able to manage being over the cap. Agents are about to max out on administration, so I can't really keep going down that line. We can keep boosting command or persuasion if we want to keep getting points there, but that might not always be optimal. Whereas I feel like 25 administration is it's really a no-brainer for all of them. Okay, anyway, I think that's all I have to say. Yeah, so anyways, after nuclear freighters, we might actually decrease the relative contribution, maybe take this down to 2 so I can get a little bit more. We actually are if we're gonna try to beeline to covert ops, we probably need to put more than just 1 bar in it. Alright, this is an interesting crossroads for us. I actually don't think it's much of a crossroads, excuse me. We're probably gonna do this, but yeah. So anyway, I've been keeping an eye out for when an assassinate something or other comes along. And as you can guess, I'm bringing you in because we found something. It is, wow, lots of good stuff here. Heracles is amazing. Except for the counselor must have this trait criminal, which we do not. But we do have a government official, and we also have a control point in the US. In fact, all of them. And the CIA does indeed give assassinate to the tune of $400 a month. That is almost my entire monthly income, which I have accrued from every little nook and cranny I can, just squeezing the money together because I know it's going to be a big problem one day. Oh my goodness, you are expensive, CIA. But it just so happens that Furkan Adin here, who is my investigation and really actually kind of my espionage person as well, although I do have Talitha here. Maybe Talitha should be my CIA person, but the problem is she is not government. I mean, she's very good, by the way, so it would be very good to get it on her. But since she's not government, and Furkan is, he's just going to have to be a very in-demand, high espionage, high intelligence, cold-blooded killer. This CIA is also going to make up for the 5 administration he's missing. It'll give him an extra science, but basically they talk about science being important on your counselors. I think I can't even remember what it is, to fight the alien influence or something, but okay, enough talk. We're gonna do it. Okay, my goodness, that was expensive. Now we're actually at 15 out of 15 here, so we can't get any more, but that's not that big of a deal. We can just give up on, like, oh Lord, do we really need public campaign? Well, it was, and it not just was, it still is giving this guy 1 extra espionage and the persuasion. So that's kind of useful. Anyways, at this point, we're now back in the running to go and find and kill an alien. But my goodness, our monthly income just drops hugely. In other news, we lost our turned servants counselor. We no longer have a bead on the servants, which means that they probably are going to eventually finish their Nerva drive. I mean, for now, we actually still have... Yeah, we don't know their counselors anymore. They did murder the poor child. So they were down to 4 counselors immediately afterwards, is how I know that. But yeah, we are actually able to see their tech still, which I'm grateful for, but they were just trying to get the Nerva drive and we kept beating them off. Anyway, I don't know if I've showed this yet, probably not, but I have negotiated quite a while ago with the Resistance and recently with Humanity First non-aggression pacts. So we're actually in good shape. In fact, when I met with the good old Colonel here, he said he was pleased with us. I mean, right beneath their name, it gives, their general disposition towards you. And Humanity First is pleased with the Academy. And maybe that makes sense, because we are very anti-servant in our actions, and we are progressing... No, you didn't. Oh, no. Okay, Humanity First. That's how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be. And by the way, we also want to do this. Cut that back for a little bit. I don't think it's too late. They're almost 100 up on us. Can we really get that back? Damn. Didn't even watch that. Oh, brother. I think I'm going to go for it. I mean, worst case scenario, we get the next one and we push this one to complete a little bit faster, which still means I get the next tech I control faster. It just means I have to wait 1. So that's fine, although it will delay, unfortunately, nuclear freighters, which is only like a month away or so. And when that happens, we are immediately going to ship both parts to Mars. So, we got a plan for this episode. I don't know when we'll end up terminating. I keep trying to push far, but that's just because I get comments back and forth on the comment section saying, both, please speed up your gameplay, do more cuts, and then other people are like, cut less, please, we want to see more gameplay. Really can't please everyone. Last thing to note is I did have to take, my CP is not in good shape here, but eventually we'll get common cause. I did have to take the first control point. It's just so sad. Like, I waited until February 1st to February 15th because it was going to be deactivated, the crackdown, on the 15th of February. So I waited as long as I could. And it'll probably show it here even somewhere down in the log. I don't, is there a way to see the log? But turns out that even though I waited and then I ended up taking it, the initiative on the last phase sent 2 purge missions to try to take it. So I really wish that they had just taken it earlier. I'm happy to give it to them, but I couldn't let the servants have it, so I had to take it. At least that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Alright, well, sit down. We're going to dig into this a bit. We got nuclear freighters, and that's great. It was previously going to cost us around 124 boosts to send things. Well, specifically to send the actual mining complex. So we'll go and check out how much that's going to cost now. Pretty obviously, I want to continue and finish off Common Cause. We are still not in a very good way as far as CP goes. Influence, still positive, so let's, I guess I'm not too critically worried about it. I did some more swapping of orgs, so this is down from 48 to 46, but I think I'm better off overall. I have more economics points and more spoils points and more space mining points when for crying out loud we ever do that. Also, it's just kind of remarkable to me that we're not that far off from a cooperative resolution. We're really only about 7 months, so that's pretty good. Okay, then what did I want to do? Yeah, it's time to go over and check out Mars, which I guess I can just do this way. I don't remember which one we want to do. Well, let me do it this way. Let's click on Mars, look at the sites, and I wanted to get, I think it might be this one, Terra. I want the highest amount of both volatiles and water. Basically the lowest minimum of those two. And I think that is in fact this one, which has a water at 27. And if that's your low, then you're doing pretty good. Plus this has everything, yes. We're definitely going to do this one. Okay, so what's up for us here? We're going to want to send a fission pile, which is going to take 5.1 and 314 days. Now, that's not a big deal. The bigger deal is going to be this outpost mining complex. That's going to be... Oh my gosh. Nuclear freighters, you are... Damn it if nuclear freighters aren't the best thing ever. So our boost cost has been 124, 124, 124, around there. I've seen it a little bit higher, a little bit lower, depending on where in the launch window you are. So the boost does change. Nuclear freighters has cut that in half. Even more than a half, which is remarkable. So we can build this on Earth and send it, 344 days. And it's going to complain about power for just a moment, but we'll solve that as well. 314 days to get the fission pile there. Only 5.1 boost. We can actually, remarkably, set up another one if we want. Now this, monthly support costs for this are going to be -9, which means our fission pile is enough to power it. So we could leave things as is for now. I'm actually considering doing exactly that, because eventually what I want to do is, instead of sending more things here, I'd rather get new colonies set up and running. I'm actually not sure which other place... I did not expect this. I was kind of flabbergasted how much nuclear freighters made a difference. I did not remember... Well, I think the last time I did Mars, which was the only time I've got Mars up and running before, I operated by working off the moon. I had the moon up and running. We just had a weird game in this one where the Mars actually came before the moon. So, forced my hand a little bit there before I had... Well, I mean, really, the outpost mining came long after either of those missions, so that we didn't have an opportunity to mine the moon first. Anyway, besides that one, I'll just pause here and... I think I do like Xantha Terra. But yeah, let me just pause and consider things. You know what? It's so cool that we actually took the time to steal all these, because nuclear freighters are going to make our boost investments, it's just going to be so much better for us. And we can take here Argyre. Let's see, we make sure we have the CP for this, but we definitely do. So we can go over here. I should have actually shown why this is a good call, but basically it's the same idea. We have one on we have one that is high in water. So our guy has the really high water value. I apologize if I'm saying this incorrectly. But yeah, we have 54 here. And only 20 as far as volatiles go. But remember that we have 54 volatiles coming in from Terrena. So the total of these two is just going to give us insane numbers. Really, really, really good numbers. We still have to wait for it to be delivered, which means our boost is going to be hurting for a while as we try to pay for all this stuff. And money's hurting right now because we have the CIA. I need to kill an alien and then probably just get rid of the CIA. Go away! Anyway, we are also going to be getting noble metals and fissiles. And we're going to be getting fissiles as soon as we get the Utopia up, which has a ton of water. So we're definitely going to... It's probably my next one to get. We're going to be having so many fissiles. And by the way, through all this, we're also going to be getting the base metals as well. So, man, I'm feeling so good. Also, in this episode, we are going to get cooperative resolution, and that's going to be a lot of story progression and stuff. So, that's actually probably when I'll see you back. I didn't showcase this, and I really should have, but I did beat out the Humanity First for this. It was like a sports car off the line when I put all of my research potential into the tech. Oh my gosh, I floored it essentially, and we caught up in like 3 days. It was insane. So yeah, but now we got to select a new tech. So we can move in parallel with this one. We could do arrival security. Is there anything I want with that? Because I'm thinking biotechnology now, then we can go to cybernetics. I think I'm just going to do that right away. Cybernetics would be great now that we're going to start interacting with aliens. Hey, I don't expect my counselors to be going anywhere. We're also kind of, with the photonic computing, kind of moving towards covert ops, and then we'll have our 6th agent. I do feel like we get more of a benefit with the 6th agent relative to everyone else having an extra agent. Not to mention that pretty much all the other organizations, or factions I guess, other than the servants, we approve of, and we appreciate what they're doing. So that means that, basically, for us and 5 of the 6 other factions, we're very happy. What is it? 6? 5, I guess. 5 from the aliens. Yeah, so 4 of the other 5 factions, we're happy that they'll get an extra counselor, another agent. So for all those reasons, I think it'll be beneficial for us to get, covert ops. Because some people might say, it's a double-edged sword, right? The servants are going to have an extra agent. But it's not like the aliens have a limit on the number of agents they have, whether or not covert ops is researched. So, maybe there is actually a built-in trigger that once you get that, they do send more. I don't know, but it's not, it's not overt, so I'm going to pretend it doesn't exist. Well, it's time to come back in for a quick update. Middle of June now, 2026. We just finished electronic countermeasures. Before this, we finished... I guess I'd have to check the log, which I can do real fast. What was it before this? Global Listening Network. So that gives us the +1 against aliens, which I would like to do. I'd like to have that, and then we got Common Cause. So we're building up a nice stable of technologies. Biotechnology finished, and somebody else completed that. I forget who it was. Probably it was the Initiative. And they elected to go with Ad Astra, which is actually a very popular choice, as you can see that we're at... normally somebody's dominating, right? Even in this one. We're actually getting pretty close with Humanity First. I'll have to keep an eye on that. But over here, we're also... I guess we're the leading horse by quite a while. Quite a ways. Yeah, it looks like we'll take Ad Astra despite 25%. But that just shows you that everybody is putting in for this one. So everybody wants it. This will give us... orbitals, settlement halves, that's interesting stuff. Anyways, for our next tech, what I want to do, again, I just want to, probably, hopefully not beating this as a dead horse. I want to stay away from techs that we're already researching. So that will give us this penalty, 5% penalty. So I want to stay away from alien, social, and material science, which means energy is fine, but I don't have that big of a tech bonus in it. Also the military one, which we do have an enormous tech bonus, is available. Guerrilla warfare, mountain warfare, these are both ones that we want to pick up eventually. I don't know if we want one more than the other first. Actually, Unrest mission seems like it's a better thing to do. Unrest increases by 3, and our nations are conquered. That would allow us to flip nations back more quickly. We could do something like, well, this is social science, so yeah, we'd want to stay away from that. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go with guerrilla warfare for now. This is 5,000 as opposed to 10,000, so we will be able to get it a little faster. Really, I'd like to move back to Xenoflora defoliants as soon as possible, but I do want to try to minimize duplicating text. It is just this minor min-max efficiency thing. We're going to want guerrilla warfare eventually. Probably we'd get better effect out of Xeno defoliants now, but I'm just making that I'm making that that sacrifice because I want to get this a little bit quicker. Other news. Despite leaving the executive cracked down and open for the initiative to take for the entire period, which I think is 2 months or 3 months, the initiative did not take it. Now, the initiative does have, what is going on in the world? Let me just kind of update this. This is the kind of thing which drags the episode out, but I think it's important to kind of keep you guys in tune with what's going on in the game. Japan is held by the initiative, as is the Philippines, as is Bangladesh. Yeah, Bangladesh. They have, I think that's their main PowerPoint. Yeah, so that you can see that they've already cracked down out of Portugal. They've abandoned that. And a few other places. I think they had a point in, Iran that this one wasn't cracked down earlier, so now they have cracked it down. My question was, while this point, which is the executive of the European Union, pretty important control point, I wonder why they didn't go for it. So the crackdown lasted until May 15th, and so I actually had to go in yet again and purge on the very last period. And this time I didn't even get any purge missions that were attempted against me by the initiative, so it appeared that they felt perhaps that they were too far over the control point limit, that they didn't want to bury themselves any deeper. Although, if I were the initiative, I probably would have done it to get control over the EU, which is, it's great to have the executive. We're actually in a good situation with the EU because although we're not, we don't have to take all the control points, so we don't have the huge. We're at basically 400 points in 2026. I feel like this is pretty good. We have emphasized getting all the control point type stuff, and I'm also happy to ride this 30 point over. It's hurting us a lot, right? But the higher, this is a percentage based thing. I'm pretty sure. I've continued to convince myself that this is true. So although we're 30 points over, 130 over, being at 130 over 100, 30 points over there, versus 400 over 370, a lot less impactful right now. I'm pretty sure it's relative. So we can see that we have enough influence gain. I've actually been prioritizing influence to a degree to offset the control point limit. Now the downside is we do have penalties to missions against us because of that. But you know what? That's kind of par for the course, isn't it? In fact, everybody but the servants who I kicked out of the EU are over that limit. The interesting thing to me is to see where are the servants going to go from here. And you do see it. You start seeing them taking over new places like they have control over the Middle East, except for I'm still getting my spoils out of the Gulf states, which is nice to keep this money income because we still get in fact, with them trying to improve the situation, it kind of just helps the amount of money I can make off the spoils, so that's to my benefit. I do plan to try to infiltrate once again the servants if I can. I may start trying to get one of their loyalties lower so that I can do that. Okay, what else? Let me also go over what's going on with the Resistance and the Humanity first. Resistance is solidly locking down India, which is great. I'm actually trying to get some public opinion in some various places, just in case you aren't aware of this. You do have an income from influence based on global public opinion. So, if you can get some public opinion in India or China, some of these more populous countries. I chose Indonesia because it's a nice mix of being very populous, but also you can actually get in there. And there's other good options. I think mostly in Asia. There's lots of places with it's easy to get into. But like Bangladesh is actually a good option. Anyway, to places like this where you can get in, and just get global public opinion as a way of getting influence. And again, I'm over the cap, so I'm trying to mitigate that. And then Humanity First has actually done incredible. So they have China, they have Pakistan, which actually looks like they're reneging on their crackdown state. They're going to take it over. And then they also have, where they had somewhere else, which I can kind of scan here. I guess they're still part of Italy and holding on there. South Korea's in control. Oh, North Korea has actually switched hands again. That has been switching hands like a hot potato. Them having China is just wonderful. I'm worried about the potential for nukes later, but at least it's in... I'd actually probably rather that these two switch, that Resistance had China and Humanity First had India. But that's not the way it is, and I'm still happy that it's out of the servants' hands. And it's in hands of people who are willing to be aggressive against the aliens. Which, speaking of, I've actually been searching for any shadow figure like this. If I find that, probably impacted. Okay, that was probably the Project Exodus then, because they have a sudden jump in popularity. But yeah, I'm looking for these unknown counselors, trying to find aliens once again. And then now that I have the CIA, I'm wasting all that money. I'd really like to get my assassination and get my corpse. Last thing. Last thing. Always one more. I want to go to the solar system. I want to look for water, and I want to scroll down here and see where I can launch prospector probes. You can see that these aren't very expensive. 4 money, 0.5 boost, which I actually get in almost a day. Just over a day. But any place where I can send a probe to, I know Ceres has already been, I think, surveyed by somebody. But I'm happy to do this. So let's launch a probe there. Clues. Now I don't have, I probably should have a construction place in orbit. That would be helpful. We can just start doing all of these Phobos. I believe if you're the first person to go there, you also get a nice little bonus. So we can do 24 Themis or Themis. We can do Loreley. And some of these aren't just good in water. They're also very good on volatiles. I'm just gonna start exploring all these. Typically, I would prefer less AUs. Keep them as close to Earth as possible. Make response times more feasible. But I'm okay with doing this. It doesn't really matter. I guess that one right here was... Oh, that's actually too far away. Yeah, so we can't do Saturn or Jupiter yet, which is where a lot of the places that you can get are. And the last one we'll do is another main... Yeah, well, this one's only 2.93. That's definitely one I would definitely want to look at that one. It does not have fissiles, but we're actually in pretty good shape as far as fissiles go because we've been very aggressive about taking fissile points. So I just sent a probe to a place where apparently the aliens already are. I may want to reconsider that. But in the meantime, we may want to search by volatiles and just do the same kind of thing. See if there's a high amount of volatiles. Oh yeah, Deimos. So, it's only another 0.5 boost. And we have, we have a fair amount of boost. Like I said, I think getting to some of these places first gives you a nice little bonus. So, no water on some of these. If they have other resources, that would be great. But I might bypass some of them. Well, Pallas, I guess I have to do Pallas. That's too good. Too good to pass up. If they're close, too. 2.5, 2.6, 2.4, but this one's not the ideal orbit point. So I might want to pass on that just for the moment, come back to it. But we have a lot of boost right now, so we can kind of throw our weight around and try to get ahead this way. Ooh, it looks like... Man. Boy, the servants have really come out, huh? 2.4 away. I guess I'll survey it. No, it almost doesn't make sense to do that, huh? Let's see if there's anything else that's close. 2.5? It's a 1. Hestia, I guess. I just love this. It makes me think of The Expanse when I'm doing this, so... We have an Io here. Not to be mistaken with another Io. And this one is 2.6. Yeah, you know what? I'll go for that. Just because it has a nice name. Anyway, we could sit here and do this all day. I think I'll limit my number of launches to that. You can also go to this screen and hit P to see what places you have or have not already investigated, and of course we have not investigated almost anything, so everything's pretty much got that red dot for us. And okay, so then the next thing I hope to be able to talk about is getting the tech for cooperative resolution. I did it! Oh my gosh, I did it! Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I had to do so much to get this damn alien down. Oh my gosh. So basically 3 people every mission period have been set on this darn alien. You can do it though, you can do it. You just gotta keep one person constantly investigating. I've had Hong Cho constantly protecting. He's been protecting Furkan, who has had his organizations completely rearranged to have garbage organizations that'll probably get sold off. I mean, they're only good for espionage, but with a 23% chance, obviously not great, but you can do it. You don't get your agent killed if you send somebody. You just basically double up. You send a second agent, doesn't improve his chances of success, just improves his chances of surviving to 100%, at least as far as I can tell. I mean, he hasn't died yet. Probably, I think a critical failure, maybe that would be bad. But congratulations to Hong Cho keeping this guy in the game, and obviously huge congratulations to Furkan bringing down an alien. I have no idea what the repercussions of this are. I suspect that this might trigger something behind the scenes in the aliens. We can think about this both code-wise, but also just realistically from like a role-playing standpoint. The aliens suddenly realize that they're mortal to us, that they can actually be. But this is, by the way, my first alien I've ever brought down, because I've only played the game, obviously, in the demo, where aliens didn't exist, not the individual agents. And I haven't played far enough still in this game, beyond like the 2030s to have assassinated any of them. But I really wanted to do it, and we did it, and this is great. So few among us would ever have believed the day would come. Not only inarguable proof of life from another world, but the successful retrieval of an intact alien body, ours to study at our leisure. Returning it to our labs has been a challenge. However, its cellular structure began to deteriorate at an alarming rate, which we believe is due to some sort of genetically programmed failsafe, presumably to prevent this race's enemies from learning more about them. Interesting. Fortunately, we were well equipped enough to quickly transfer the corpse into cryogenic storage, by which point only its outermost extremities had succumbed to necrosis. More problematically, the pathologist tasked with initial assessment of the body quickly fell into an inexplicable stupor. The effect dissipated within a few hours and did not repeat. A full postmortem may now begin. Whew. Okay, wow, amazing. So we got it. Let me quickly go here. We have completed access an alien corpus objective. The operation was ugly and bloody as we expected. The alien was protected by human bodyguards, which our team was forced to engage. I say forced, but in truth, this was our decision. We have now both human and alien blood on our hands, and I fear this is only the start of a long and dark road. The aliens and their supporters will view us as terrorists, and I cannot say they are entirely wrong. Remember, once again, we're the Academy. It's actually kind of an interesting thing that I wonder if you can complete the Academy's storyline, which I don't know, of course. We're discovering this together, all the way to the end at least. I wonder if you can complete it without killing an alien corpse. I doubt it, but feels like is there a pacifist role? Probably not. Okay, anyway. We took casualties as well, of course. On my insistence, our team announced their presence to the alien and its bodyguards and offered terms of surrender. Fascinating. The offer was ignored, and the negotiator who made the offer was killed in the ensuing firefight. The second in command of the team has flatly told me that they could have completed the mission without casualties had they been authorized to strike first. I would like to say I regret the order, but in all honesty, I would give the same command again. Still, we have our corpse. I hope the information our biologists can glean from it is worth the price we paid. I really like the Academy. I like this isn't it the best of us? Isn't it what we want? It's what you imagine in the storybooks, when you write the good guy story, that they announce themselves. I don't know. I like this. Okay, so I think that's all for now. Okay, now we have a new one, Research Hydrobiology. This will have to come after the faction tech, which we're researching very quickly. I think it's done in September. It's been constantly moving up because I keep investigating new aliens, getting a little bit of bonus. Also just making more science. So the culture and ways of thinking of all Earth creatures are rooted first and foremost in their bodies. Their biology, physiology, genetics. For all their differences, I believe these aliens must be the same. But let's see what we can learn. Our personnel have begun to refer to these creatures as hydras, after the speed with which their influence grows and regrows across the Earth. Removing any of their servants only leads to 2 more taking their place. In the Greek myth, the hero sent to slay the Hydra succeeded only by dismembering it piece by piece and burning their remains. I hope this is not an omen. So we have our next task ahead of us, but that one hasn't become available yet. And what's more, we'll wait for a cooperative resolution to finish first, which I know that this episode is now pushing it, so I may not be able to finish it. But I did not anticipate success in the... in fact, this is probably... Let me just call this video to a close here. Take a moment to collect myself before the next one begins. We certainly didn't get as far timeline-wise as I expected, but made a lot of progress as far as the story progression. And this was a really, really cool moment. You know, for all this game makes you work for it, it's so rewarding when you actually get there. And I'm sure that the game designers knew that and had it in mind when they crafted the whole design of the game. Anyway, until the next episode, thanks for watching, stay safe, and take care.